I have the honor to invite His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Albania, Mr. Edi Rama.
First of all, I owe to everyone here an apology for not just being late, but keeping you waiting for me. And I'm sure not everyone was happy to wait for me. It's normal. This city has a very vibrant, democratic community. Anyhow, I apologize. And I'm very honored to be here, not just because I have to say it, but because he is quite a special person we are here to celebrate, and special in many ways. So, distinguished rector, dear mayor, members of the academic community, students, dear Nicolas, Olivier, dear Peter, friends and family of our very distinguished guests. Allow me to begin with a small, how to call it, paradox of childhood maybe, or coincidence of childhood. Olivier once recalled that as children, he and his brother Nicolas were not allowed to visit the father's gallery because their father believed that it was not a playground for children. And guess what? My childhood was in a way very similar. Because my father believed that his atelier was not a playground for children. So I was allowed to wander into my father's atelier in very few occasions when my mother was invited to have a look to a finished sculpture. And it was exactly there, in one of these very few occasions, when I was a very little kid, that I encountered for the very first time the face of the great grandfather of the two gentlemen here, Aleksandër Moisiut. Nor me and either anyone else of our generation never saw Aleksandër Moisiut live. What I saw to begin with was a statue in clay my father shaped with devotion to capture the presence of a larger-than-life personality who was born in Albania but blossomed in Vienna. And I was very little to remember many things, but I can tell you that in a black and white picture of that moment, you can see a little kid that is kind of shocked, frightened, impressed by this amazing statue of this man with his face that my father liked so much and used to deal with so many times that, as a matter of fact, he did it as portrait in plaster, in bronze, in wood, in marble. And it was his most preferred face. And I can understand why, because it's a very sculptural, expressive face. And so that face shaped by my father, became my template of what a real actor should look like. And that's why I usually didn't like the actors of socialist realism, because they didn't have this tragic weight of the face of Aleksandër Moisiut. And when someone went close to it, then I liked it. And then came his voice in a very old-fashioned record, incredible voice. And so that is what Aleksandër Moisiut was for us. A statue, a face, a voice. But more than that, he was the most stunning and impressive representation of a man who transcended his origin without abandoning it. Of a man who became a European icon of theater while remaining connected to the place from which he came. And today we gather at the university that proudly bears his name to welcome two individuals here that are his descendants and who, each in their own way, continue that same path of being somewhere and still, in a way or another, belonging somewhere else. Nicolas, who, by the way, I have to tell you this, I heard for first time through a myth, which was not a myth founded on fake news, but a myth founded on the reality, because he was introduced to me as a name as the homeless billionaire, right? So he was a billionaire, but he never had a home. He was sleeping from hotel to hotel to hotel. Something I also did until I got married. When I got married for good, because my original idea was I am my home and I can go wherever I want with myself. If I have a home, then I am prisoner of a place. I don't know if you are still homeless, my dear Nicolas, but I then got to know many things about the man that rightly you want to recognize here as one of yours, not just because of his second name, but because of who he is. And one of the things I wanted to recall here is when he said, what makes you uniquely you, your experiences, your transformation, your origins, never forget them. It is a sentence that could easily have been spoken by their grandfather himself. Because remembering one's origin is not an act of nostalgia, and I believe it's not either just an act of formally stating your identity, but is more a torment of the soul combined with a very deep intellectual curiosity about who you are, where you come from, what does it mean. And as Nicolas himself beautifully puts it, is shaped by culture. Ideas, knowledge, art, and forming communities made human civilization. Our cultures are our second DNA strand. So standing here today with the privilege to say few words for him and be in front of him and his brother at a university that bears the name of their grandfather, I might say that his words resonate with almost a poetic meaning. Culture travels through generations, sometimes through books, sometimes through institutions, sometimes through memory, and sometimes through the persons that carry the silent inheritance of curiosity and imagination. The title Doctor Honoris Causa is awarded to Nicolas Berggruen in recognition of his outstanding international contributions to philosophical, political, and social thought, as well as for his continued engagement in promoting global dialogue, ethical leadership, and sustainable development. Through the Berggruen Institute, which he founded and he chairs, Nicolas has created a living forum of ideas. With centers from Los Angeles to Beijing and Venice, he came only until Venice, not yet crossing, where usually them who were on the other side crossed here to find inspiration. But maybe it will come. I hope it will come. And for sure in our new campus here, we will have a beautiful place for your institute. Just come. Because this institute is amazing. He gathers some of the most influential minds of our time to reflect on the profound transformations shaping the human condition, such as all the challenges we deal with, from climate change to technological revolutions and to the crisis of democratic governance. Also, the title Doctor Honoris Causa is awarded to Olivier Berggruen in recognition of his remarkable contribution to the field of art, history of art, his role in connecting the legacy of classical art with the spirit of the contemporary world. An art historian educated in Paris and London, Olivier has dedicated his life to studying and curating the artistic revolutions that shaped modernity, from Pablo Picasso to Francis Bacon. Through exhibitions, writings, curatorial work across major institutions, from Frankfurt to Rome, Paris, Washington, you name it, he has explored how artists at the beginning of the 20th century managed something absolutely remarkable, created a new language of art, seemingly rejecting the traditions that preceded them, but in fact absorbing the DNA of the tradition, as Nicolas may put it. It feels so meaningful that today's ceremony connects, as a matter of fact, generations in an invisible but yet very powerful power line. A grandfather who became one of Europe's greatest actors, two grandsons who, in different fields, continue exploring the deepest questions of human creativity and responsibility, and a university that carries the name of that grandfather while shaping the minds for future generations and embracing the two grandsons. Beautiful. Congratulations on this honor, and truly thank you for reminding us that the most powerful inheritance we can receive and the most valuable one we can pass on is not wealth, is not power, but is the enduring capacity to interact with the other, to build bridges between people and cultures, to let ideas flow by creating ways for them to flow, and the most important, to celebrate the humanity for the very temporary stay we are gifted to have in this earth. Thank you very much.